Got a nice fun one today. So I've cut out just this section of the carrier cat, which is my side loading door. The idea with this door is that containers will be coming in through here. It's a little bit sketchy how I'm going to set this up, but I need a crane for this, and the access to the crane is going to be up there, which means I probably need a ladder so you can get up here from the door. Otherwise you have to walk all the way down and up the staircase and then all the way back down the walkway. So I'm just going to try and make this as simple as possible. Cut out a little hole here and drop a ladder down. I wonder if I can actually get up the ladder going this direction. But yeah, so cutting it out into the smaller section just makes it so much quicker to load. Oh, that's pretty good, eh? So you can drop down and then you can, I'm gonna have to pull that floor out, but you can still get up there. The ladder should probably be sectioned, use rockets from between that. And so part of this is gonna be figuring out like how am I gonna get containers in here? Because ideally you'd wanna be putting them on like, oh, let me change that, like this sort of direction where the long side is like vertical or up and down in this case. So imagine that this door is out flat. You want it in this orientation so that they can slide in, except there's no way to put grippers, so that doesn't matter. So no thanks, we will not do that. But I will be using these sliding connector tracks. I guess what I should do is figure out where the middle is. So this is 49. If I remove, let's say, 3 off each end for walking around it, 43, half of 43 is 21. We have 23 here and 19 there. Wait a minute, that's 20, that's 22. So that'll be one main track, and then it has to go through, there's just gonna be this area where it's like disconnected over the door. It shouldn't matter. Get an Aster pallet, because you can see there's a gripper on the front and a gripper on the back. So even as it goes across, it should be fine. And then with my containers, I've started putting connectors in the corners in sideways direction as well. So if I were to just say every 3, it'll be a very track heavy door, but I think that's the best situation. And it shouldn't really matter how you put it on the door, you should be able to slide it in. This thing here, for instance, the uranium container. If I were to put that right in the middle, then these grippers on the sides will connect onto at least 2 of those. And because I'm building to MCS spec, if I put all my tracks spaced out 3, then I'll leave it 4 on the end, I think. Anything I build in the future and anything that anyone else wants to build in a similar style using MCS standard, it'll just work. So if you wanted to put a ISO size container on here, which would be 29, it's like missing 3 basically. So you've got a bit of leeway of where you actually get it to. Oh, I mean, it might also be good for launching stuff overboard. And then I'll just need to bring this track in, probably to the middle, and maybe have some kind of gantry crane that can properly position the containers or anything else that you want to be bringing in. The way I'm thinking about this crane and this entrance is that containers and large cargo can be brought through this door, whereas the crane on the back is probably more used for like bringing up small supplies or even people if I put a stretcher out on the back. And I'm gonna have to do something to like avoid these rails. So it might have to pop out a bit further. So what I'm thinking is if I cut in between here, so between these 2 rails, that should be 7. And then we come out 2 blocks to pass those rails. Now this sticks out very, very far. I don't want it to stick out that far, but I do kind of want there to be a person sitting in here, so let's chuck a pivot down. We'll do a fluid pivot, chuck an angled pipe for the floor. I wonder if I should chuck it in the other way actually. I want the crane to be able to move, but I don't want to be doing anything that unseals the side of this. So this is like my 7x7 platform. Then what I'm going to do is chuck this pivot, and I want to use the fluid pivot in case I need to use it for refueling or something. At least it's like connected. Then that is going to come out and across, and I'll use the compact pilot seat for this. So now the pilot seat, or the driver seat of the crane, is in the middle of my area. I might even have to like push it over to one side so that you can walk past, but that'll let me stay inside and rotate. We'll bring a pipe down, and then I reckon I can just use a hinge. It will need to come out a bit further though, and I'll end up having to like do an angle like this, a bit of a zigzag, so that I can connect the fluid side into that pipe, so any fluids can transfer through that. And then having it pivot here beyond where my thing is will let that crane go all the way up. I'm wondering if I should do it the other way where the hinge is on the top. I mean, that can be solved easily enough. And then we'll have a boom. I'm seeing some serious flaws in my design. I kind of want to do the tracks being the interior part of the boom, so I think that means these two outer pieces are like connected to the main part of the crane, and then this thing slides through, which means this actually goes like way at the end, and then it's basically pulling this through. This will need to lift containers, so I want it to look kind of beefy. These grippers need to come all the way to the back. They'll be sliding forwards with this. It's just very limiting. Like if you think here is the rotating part, the crane length doesn't really need to be that long, right? Because even when it's raised up, you kind of want it to be in the middle, so it's only going to be about that long. So now what I want to do is put in some details down the sides, and I wonder if I can just hollow this out. Is there any like half block that I'm forgetting about? There's the track extension. I want to put like some kind of, you know, wedgie thing in here. I'm not sure if this will cause it to get stuck. Thickened up these angled pieces. And this is probably too long as well. Let's see if I can chuck a hard point in here as well. Not on that one, because I need that. So that'll help lock everything in place when it's retracted. Got to think about how the operator is going to see. Are they going to be below it? Because that would be ideal. And then I could just curve off that end. Chuck some pivots in here. I don't think there's any need for it to be able to pivot down. Actually, I've changed my mind about this, because if you have to climb up and then you're like above the thing, you have to really be looking down. Like if you are, let's say you're here and you're lifting something, this is your field of view. Like you can't really see the bottom where the ramp or where the deck will be. If you were down here at the same height, then you're looking up, but your field of view still encompasses the bottom of this door that opens. So having it down low is actually going to be a lot better. Another fun problem though, I can't actually open this door if I have the crane facing this direction. It's got to go up to clear this, which means it's going up to the rail where the helipad is. Here's another really fun dilemma. The weight in this middle pivot is going to be so bad. This thing here needs to get extremely heavy because this pivot on the bottom is going to be connected to the main hull, and then this thing is not too heavy, but the thing inside is probably going to be quite heavy as well. You want to have them all kind of about the same weight, or you at least want the pieces that are more likely to fail to be a lot heavier. Right, somewhere up here we're going to be ditching some of this rail. So I think it does actually have to go above the rail because it needs clearance for this rear section to rotate. What if it starts like that other crane where it's actually facing down, which means it won't be able to face up unless it starts out and then retracts down, and it would need to start way over here as well. If this crane is actually just on the top, then that would mean stuff can be loaded onto the helipad pretty easily. Because it is actually quite a low profile crane, it could just sit up here beside the helipad. It means the walkway beside the helipad is a bit screwed. So I might have to cut into the helipad or reduce the width, or just push this out enough so that the walkway is preserved, in which case would the rail even need to be deleted? So I just have a crane that hangs over now. Let's have a look at the full carrier cat, because we have this spot up here is what I'm thinking about. So that makes helicopters, like getting a helicopter in there, extremely dangerous. If I were to bring it forwards and down so it's kind of, you know, not higher than a helicopter would be, and then the helipad would have to get cut so that you can walk past there. So the other option is push it all the way out, and now it hangs over the side. There isn't a crane here on the reference pictures, like the real boats don't have this door and don't have this crane, so this is totally unique. It is a new problem to solve. See, this one here makes sense because it's quite small and it's got its own base thing. If I put this above, then I can lift things onto the helipad. If I go below, I'm restricted to only using the door. And then we have the final option that I just thought of. We can put the crane here and slide it. It could actually like go all the way in, you'd never even see it. And then a door could open to allow it to slide all the way down to here. And like even further, it could go all the way down to the back. Actually, that's kind of cool. It would just be sweeping everything off the helipad though. And it would have to become a velocity pivot, or it would have to start, if it starts like this, then we lose some rotation because we can only rotate 90 out over the side. I'm going to change to a velocity pivot. I really like this idea. I think it's kind of stupid, and I think that's why I like it. So the pivot will now be one more across. So this walkway is going to be a track space. So I wonder if the helipad does need to get narrower, or do I need to put the track just in the walkway? That seems kind of stupid. Another option is to run tracks so it hangs over the side. Not sure how I feel about that. It'd be better to have it here. I can see this going really badly though, because the boom will be hanging down. It's a lot of weight, and if you didn't lift it up before you tried to drag it across the helipad, it's gonna bonk something and break, which means it would have to come up, which isn't probably the worst thing. So this door is going to go, all of the staircase and everything in here is going to have to change. It's okay, it's not important that it's on this side. I don't know why I really picked this side over the other side. They're basically identical, other than that there is room above this side. Like there's this extra door above here. Like in fact, the whole side could just be flipped over. I could invert everything. We're going to use one linear track to move it. This is a dumb idea. This is a really dumb idea. There's no need for you to be able to put things on the helipad, as far as I'm concerned. it's going to be one track to move it back and forwards, and then grippers to hold it in place. That's just going to go the whole way down here. And then I can fill it all the way to the bottom. Maybe even using grippers. It would apply more braking force, I guess. The other option is to use 2 tracks with a gripper in the middle. I don't mind, they're both kind of equally suspicious looking systems. That lives there. This sliding bit is going to be so wobbly. I hope the grippers can just hold on. That's going to be the only thing that's really doing anything there. I can make it a lot fatter though, so I guess I can add even more grippers for one thing. And then everywhere through there can go. Chuck some barrels. I think it'll be better to do 2 weight blocks, then 2 barrels, then 2 weight blocks, 2 weight blocks, 2 barrels, 2 weight blocks, probably weight blocks everywhere that I can. Yeah, anywhere that's not necessary. So now I need to know where this is going to come in. It's going to be there. And it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 long. And basically I'm just going to extend this. If I put grippers in here, then I can put tracks in, which will help lock it into place. Put a seat here, so at least I can kind of see what's going on. So I've got a velocity pivot, 2 fluid pivots, tracks, more tracks, and a winch. So first thing, we need the sliding back and forwards. So that'll be, we'll grab the seat. Track 1 brakes. W and S makes you go up and down. A and D makes you turn left and right. There's not enough buttons for this. There's not enough buttons. I'm gonna have to turn it into some kind of touch screen or something. For now, it's gonna be 1 sends you down, 2 brings you back. Neither of them applies brakes. Not this or this means reset and brakes. This is the speed, the increment, 1 and 2. Then we have our left and right, so that'll be number output, left, right, rotation. This one's nice and easy because it is A and D, which is channel 1. And that goes into the same system as this basically. There will definitely need to be some extra steps with this because it's a velocity pivot and needs to know its current rotation for resetting and for limitations, because I don't want it rotating in a certain direction all the way back so that it impacts the side of the carrier cat. Next one is down rotation, and this one's even easier, channel 2, and this one probably doesn't actually need a counter, I don't think. Yeah, I should put a counter on it. It's a robotic pivot, but if you don't use a counter and you just send your number directly to it, then you have to clamp. Clamp will leave you with a dead zone. If you hold like S to rotate it down, it'll hit 0. The seat will continue counting to -1. So all of your -0 to -1 is just a big dead zone where nothing happens. But if we use a counter, we can change the increment to something really low, so it's quite slow. The minimum can be 0, so that's our limit, hard limit for down. And then 1 is our hard limit for up, which is probably not even needed. We probably only need to go like 0.8 or something up. Then we have a number output and a on-off output. And this is the boom extension tracks and the boom extension brakes. And these, surprisingly, I'll also use a counter. This is more like this first one, but the channel we're reading is, it's actually more like It's more like this one here. But the channel, it will be 3. So that'll go to there, to there, to there, to there. Boop, boop. The increment on this, yeah, that's all correct. That's basically it. See, it's kind of like, it's too heavy, but essentially it'll be able to retract all the way under this thing, like under the main canopy thing, and you'll see it, it'll be like, it'll live like there, just on the edge. And I need to cut out the top section above it so there's no chance of impact. But then you'll be able to go send it down. Oh. Whoa. Okay, wait a minute. Why is it like that? That's better. Nice and slow. And then if I press left or right arrow, I don't know which one's which. Nothing's happening. Oh, it stopped. Why did it stop? Let's hit the rail. That's not good. If I come down, let me know what you think about this, because now that I'm seeing it here, I'm not so sure. Like, if you were trying to load something and you've got it at this position because you're trying to put like a container or a vehicle onto that side door, this seems like it's way too much crane for what you'd be doing. But I mean, you can really extend it out. I did it backwards. But yeah, like, does this make any sense? This doesn't make any sense at all. Oh yeah, it's impacting again. Why would you need this much reach? Like, why? What are you doing? What are you doing that needs this? I would say if you are putting containers or vehicles in through the side door, there's probably a port crane, and that would be the job of the port crane. Maybe this is a nice crane that's not supposed to be used for this application. That would be my thinking. Yeah, that seems like a much smarter idea to me. Make a really low profile crane. It pivots from the side, and it can only pivot to a 90-degree point and then back to flat. Because that'll give you basically full range of motion from the center of this down to the back. I could probably start it there or end it there. And then it would extend to there, you know, like it would only have so much reach. And that would fulfill the role of being able to put stuff onto this door for you to then like have a gantry crane inside or someone pushing things around inside. If I do this, then I can probably make it fit within just this 3 high space. Right now it's got like a gripper on the bottom to help keep it straight, but there's no real reason that that even needs to be there. I could get rid of this. Get rid of... thinking like, how can I make it more compact? Then flip the gripper up the other way. And then the bottom section can go, which means this goes up. So now it's like really simple. Because you're still going to need some kind of container spreader or something to be operating in this area. The biggest problem that really is that the blue crane looks really cool. And I know a lot of people are going to say the blue crane, I should do the blue crane. But for like actual usefulness, this is all I need. Because it misses the door, so it won't get caught on anything. And it can only operate in this area, so it's nice and simple. Folds away nicely, isn't going to cause a massive, like a heap of problems. That blue crane is already a massive heap of problems. Oh yes, look at this. Hold on, let me open the door. I like this so much better. Let me know, leave a comment. Leave a comment if you like this one better than the blue one. Actually, yeah, just tell me which one's better, green or blue. See, here we are. So let's say we're at the port. We need to put a container on here. Oh, look at that! Isn't that beautiful? Oh, look at that. That's probably going to be able to reach a container, probably. So yeah, the problem is you need a spreader of some kind. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Okay, I've got some ropes. Oh, yeah, that's a problem. There's no... Hold on. So I'm putting it down really close. That way I can use a really short rope. And now I will need to try and get it over there. Oh, geez. I'm going to have to do 4 meter maybe. There we go. 4 meter ropes. So how springy are these ropes going to be? This is the problem. I can't actually lift it onto here. It's way less of a struggle. This is a pretty cool situation. I feel like I'm selling myself on the idea again, except this thing here where it's like, yeah, it's really dumb that it's doing that. I can't really make the door any bigger, so the fact that it's putting it down here is not good. That is falling off territory. So someone did make an example, someone from my Discord community, where there was a crane, a gantry crane in here that pokes out the side, so it doesn't go any higher than this, but it would only just like get out past the door, but then it always means it can retract completely the whole way in and then move stuff around inside. Because although this looks cool and it mostly works, the positioning of that crane where it's putting down a container is not so good. Not being able to rotate the crane up high is also quite bad, where it's catching on the rail. The door is okay. I like the door and I like its intended use. So we just need to figure out the right kind of crane for this job. I don't think the blue one is the right type, and I don't think the green one is the right type. Just because of how ropes are going to be working in Stormworks, it's just not a good situation to be in. So I'll ponder this, leave your comments, any suggestions of what type of crane. Should I just do a gantry crane inside that can poke out to pick things up directly off the side of it? I think that would be the easiest and most simple to do. But yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.